Are you a District 57 Toastmaster who would like to spread your message far and wide? Are you part of a Northern California organization that would like to bring in a good speaker? Are you a Toastmaster who would like to take your message to clubs throughout Toastmasters International? If you answered yes to any of those questions, the District 57 Speakers Bureau is for you. I'm pleased to have as our guest today, Speakers Bureau member Gary C. Smith. Gary, welcome to the show today.
Welcome, Steve. Thank you. Great intro. Good job there.
Thank you. I
toast.
appreciate you being part of the show, and I'd love to chat with you about the District 57 Speakers Bureau.
Okay.
Terrific. So the Speakers Bureau is part of Toastmasters. Can you tell me what brought you to Toastmasters?
It was in 2008. I'd sold a business and I was looking for something that I wanted to do. And I had an opportunity, and that required me to go to realtors meetings, marketing meetings that they had. We had a product, it was a review on HOA documents. And one of the affiliates got up and started talking about Toastmasters. And I went, well, my wife had done that years ago. I think that would be fun to do, and I would get to meet more people. And that I went to the meeting and found out that it was fun, and I got to meet new people, and I've been with it ever since. It's been 14 years, and I think if I last count, it was 337 speeches that I've given in Toastmasters, and that's just within the Toastmaster context. It led to a lot of other speakers. At that time, I was getting an MBA in, of all things, speaking. I hadn't thought about coaching, which I ended up doing that, but it was a great intro for me. And the structure of Toastmasters is outstanding. The mission statement is incredible. It branches a couple of things, not just speaking, but leadership is there also.
So a lot of different things. You wanted to meet people, you liked the program, and you found out there was a leadership component.
Yes, that was
there. Fantastic. So you're already an excellent communicator, or you've developed excellent communication skills in Toastmasters. What keeps you in Toastmasters?
Number one thing would be the people. Getting to meet new people all the time, the opportunity to hone your experience there, to present things that I'm going to be doing in the work business or in my passion as a speaker. It's an opportunity to play with that, the new skills, to see other people develop is great fun. It's great fun. And I would say that the laughs per minute are well worthwhile for your well-being as a human being.
I like that, the laughs per minute. And that leads me to a speech I heard you give a couple of weeks ago. You've coined a term called serious-itis. Can you talk about that and how it relates to laughs per minute?
Yeah, I don't know about the rest of the world, but I've found it's gotten too serious recently. We've gotten ourselves stuck in a binary. It's either this or that, or good or bad, or right or wrong. And I was doing workshops called Transformational Goals, which would allow you to gain some tools to get over your resistances to having what you want, perhaps even find out what you want, check in with who you are. And we talked about what is the with them? What's in it for me, for those people who are taking the workshop? And I thought what's in it for them is a chance to be happy, to get over their serious-itis. And I just said that word, just like one would say excuse-itis, which is part of the whole serious-itis paradigm that works together. You got stinking thinking involved with blame and all the excuses that people want to make. And so I found out quite simply, people are too serious. If they're not laughing at themselves, what are they doing? If they're not asking for what they want in life, they're accepting something that is less than what they want. So developed a program for that, to cure it, to help cure it. So I got 12 points to help cure it, and I got some tools to handle the resistances that we have to getting what we want in life, which is what keeps us from being happy.
So it sounds like there's a part of being too serious, but is there also the component about some people just don't like to hear things they disagree with?
I'm sure there are. They
Right.
they have it chronically. They have it
Mhm.
chronically. I would probably give them a list of addresses or phone numbers to therapists that they could talk to, that they can
Mhm.
find out that perhaps their condition could be cured in another fashion.
Mhm.
I think the tools that we offer, that I've offered, 99% of the people who have taken the workshops said this was the most fun I've had in a long time.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, one of the things about Toastmasters, and you, you this is probably something that's important to you in speeches you've watched is or evaluated. We'll give evaluations on a speech that we totally disagree with, but we evaluate the presentation
Yes.
and not content we disagree with because we all come in here trying to share our ideas, trying to learn to speak better. So one of the things we learn on at Toastmasters is how to listen and learn from people we disagree with. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Yeah.
Toastmasters is about finding that structure, that your structure that you can
Mhm.
work with to present your message there. It's not about being right or wrong. It's not about the content per se. It would be a little bit like you're learning to sing a song. You know, you're going to sing it in your voice, but the
Mhm.
words are there in a sense. And there's structure that Toastmasters offers. Some of it's classic. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them. Tell them what you told them. Have a recap. Evaluations are great. We like to think of it as the Oreo cookie. You know, it's a little sandwich there. These are points that you worked on that are really good. Here's a point to grow. And the last part is a little bit of enthusiasm to get you to do the next one, because we all have a message to say. And it's very important that that message gets out there, that you get it out of your heart and get it out to the world, or else we get too much serious-itis going on.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, those are words to live by. Now, in your professional life, you're the training director at the Genomic Code Research Institute. That sounds fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay. Geomic is not genomic, it's geomic. It's a combination of sacred geometry and cosmic, those two words that
I
came
see.
together. Phil Canville put the concept together. He was a jeweler and he was a Toastmaster for years,
Hmm.
for over 20 years. And I met him in Toastmasters, and he took our transformational goals workshop. And what Phil had found was that through preferences to 7 different shapes, he could learn what kind of jewelry you would like. He was a jeweler. So
Oh,
if you had a preference towards squares, circles, triangles, rectangles, ovals, cones, cylinders, that would say something about your personality and about your essence. So what we did was we worked to find what I call is the progression, that you could kind of understand what a square is about. Things are contained within a square. There's 4 sides to it. There's walls there. We all need a square in our life. It allows us to function, to move towards what we want. But we also need a circle where there's room for everybody in our life. We also need a triangle that says there's more than just yes or no. There's maybe involved in that. And so within that concept is you can move through those and use those. And it's not like the personality test, a disc test per se. It's like a lesson in learning how to be all the different styles and use those to get what you want and manifest what you want in life and help you interconnect with other people, much like what happens in Toastmasters. So I
right.
found it to be a great blend.
That is interesting. Now, do you do workshops or?
We've done workshops.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Uh, what 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 are people's goals when they go to the workshops?
Well, it's always a with them. What's in it for me? What's in it for me?
Right.
Um, but there are, and you can know this from personality styles. Some people want to be able to make a better relationship. They want to be able to listen to other people's better. They want to be able to get results, see able to manifest, like using something like smarter goals, for example, where you're working specific and measurable, that particular paradigm and stuff. Some people want to be able to analyze information and material. Some people are just wanting to get results. So what we've found is that when you have all those choices, if you only have one choice in your life, one way to communicate with people, you're kind of stuck. If the person doesn't has some kind of resistance to that style of communication, there's not going to be a connection there. But if you have multiple ways to communicate, you become a better communicator. which is one of the lessons that we learn in Toastmasters, because everybody doesn't speak the way I speak. Some people have the great ability to slow down. It's one of the things I'm working on every speech. Thanks for this opportunity, Steve.
All right. Fantastic. Another one of your quotes is, paying attention is our best investment. What does that mean to you?
Well, what that means to me is, on a really big level, is that maybe as human beings, what we are is our attention. And when you start looking at what we are is our attention, we'll get back to maybe what we are is verbs. We're ever changing verbs. One of the big reasons for seriousitis is when we get stuck in a noun. I'm my job. I'm a man. I'm in a relationship. When we just have those one things that we think we are, we don't have the flexibility to connect, to chameleonize, to shapeshift, to be connected to other people. So to me, paying attention as our best investment means paying attention to what? First, we pay attention to ourselves, like the golden rule. The golden rule says, do unto others as we would do unto ourselves. So we want to know how I want to be treated. So that's the first place we start. And then we can work with other people like that. So paying attention means I'm able to observe myself. I'm able to observe and be connected to another person. And then we start bringing in some really great things like empathy and sympathy, where we really start connecting compassion with other people because we're able to pay attention. We know when to speak and when to hold the silence. Like something we learned in Toastmasters, that the importance of nothing. You can talk right through the joke if you're a stand-up comedian, but in Toastmasters, allowing that pause to allow the information to sink in really is powerful there. And that's when paying attention is our best investment.
So it could be paying attention, it could be reading the room, watching what's going on around you. Would that be accurate?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Right.
Around you and inside you, because we're giving message. We say this in Toastmasters, 57% of what we communicate is our body talk. So what's your face saying right now? Is there a smile there or not? What's your hand saying? What's your body saying? Are you open and receptive? Those kind of things make a difference in when you're paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we talked about seriousitis. We talked about paying attention. What are some of the subjects besides those that you like to speak about?
Well, let's see. What else do I like to speak about? I like to speak about my grandchildren. I do. I'm a grandpa,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's really a good thing to like to speak about. I like to speak about humor. I'm very much big on humor, getting past the curmudgeon in lives there that seems to happen with a lot of people as they age, which we all hope we do, which is an outcome there. Let's see. I've spoken about bowling. I was a professional bowler for years, talking about building before. I owned a beauty salon for 25 years, so I can talk about beauty and self-esteem and where that comes from. I like to talk about how to communicate with another person, how to interact with another person like that. I've talked about the dangers of AI. It's happening a lot right now. You go to chat-1 and it'll write your whole speech for you. I'm very interested in both direct experience and original thoughts, being able to get out into nature or in your life where you're really totally there. You're not being taken through it by a television show or a distraction like that. And having that something that you can actually come up with that we work with in Toastmasters in table topics, an original way of snap at the moment, coming up with something that's interesting, entertaining, and enthusiastic about that. I think table topics and improv go together really, really well. And it's one of the mastering tools that we have in Toastmasters.
So the AI can help you write a speech, but it may not be a speech in your own authentic style. Would that be accurate?
I would say that that's accurate. The information may be there, but are you?
Mhm.
Is your body there? Is your gestures there? Is it your vocal tone? Is it your pacing? The words, you can find anything you want on Google, as we know already. Well, all those years in college that said go to the upstairs to that room in the very back where all those really big books were that had all the references that you needed there. Just Google it. You can find out anything you want. But that's not what we're looking for. As human beings, we're looking for other human beings that we can connect with. And Toastmasters gives us that opportunity to do that, to connect with other people through our speeches, through the way we actually communicate.
So we bring ourselves to the game then. So that's a good
Yeah,
thing.
right,
Right.
exactly.
And you mentioned your grandchildren. You'd like to talk about them. How many grandchildren do you have?
I have three. I have an 18-year-old who just got his Eagles, Boy Scout Eagle
Hmm?
certification. He graduates next week. I have a 17-year-old granddaughter who's in Olympic skiing program right now.
Wow.
And I have a 14-year-old grandson who plays lacrosse and is going for his pilot's license, which he'll have by the time he's 16. So I'm very fortunate. They're very interesting. I wish I had their lives.
That's fantastic. So they're developing their own stories.
Yes, they are. They are.
Right. Right. Now we're here today to talk about the Speakers Bureau. What does the District 57 Speakers Bureau mean to you?
It's an opportunity to speak to people that I haven't spoken to before, to hone skills or develop ideas that can be interested to different segments of society. As I mentioned earlier, I've been in the real estate business, I've been in the construction business, I've been in professional sports, to be able to hone a speech into those areas. The Bureau itself acts as a marketing opportunity for me there, and for the rest of us in the Speakers Bureau there, to say, this is a speaker who would work well in your area right now. This is one who has one that can work with your group of nurses or whatever group that it is like that. So to me, the Speakers Bureau then takes the concept of Toastmasters to another level there. It gets it more into the public, and it allows the public to see the service and the techniques and skills that we have that they can learn.
So there's a lot of information.
Yeah.
If you're watching this show and are interested in hearing more about Gary C. Smith, we have a great website, and you can go to Find a Speaker, and each of us has our bio. You can learn a lot about Gary, some of the things he talked about today, some of the things he didn't get a chance to mention, and there's contact information. So if you would like Gary to come to speak to your Toastmasters Club or your organization outside of Toastmasters, I encourage you to give Gary a call. And is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Gary, or fill us in on?
Well, of course, I have to do a little commercial and say, because paying attention is your best investment, pay attention to my website. It's pretty easy to find, www.garycsmith.info. And you can find a lot of information about me in there and about how I work at curing seriositis there. So
All right.
some of my art and some of my books involved in there.
Fantastic. Well, I will put your website into the show notes, and it'll be available to anybody that wants to contact you. And I really appreciate chatting with you today.
Thank you, Steve. It was great.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot. Gary C. Smith. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. The District 57 Speakers Bureau facilitates speaking opportunities for members as well as community organizations. We love taking the role of guest speakers at Toastmasters clubs. Our speakers are seasoned Toastmasters with exceptional speaking skills. The Speakers Bureau is a great resource to help you select the ideal speaker for your event. Whether it's a keynote speaker, a storyteller, a motivational speaker, we're here to help you. So connect to the Speakers Bureau and find the best speaker possible.